Little snooze. And completely quiet. So we'll put this one in. Welcome back to Living with a Classic. I'm here with an X308. 3.2 V8, I believe. This is, yes, a 3.2. And it's a good customer of mine. I've worked on his Series 3 XJ6 that you've seen a while ago, and it's actually coming back for some more work. And now I have this X308. It's coming for just a couple small things, and I thought it'd be a good idea just to sometimes talk about, if you follow the channel, I like going back to basics and sort of doing basic troubleshooting. And even if a customer complains of this is the issue, you always double check. And that's the same with yourself. Let's say you bring your car to a shop and they say, yeah, your wheel bearing's going out on the left side. Double check yourself. So, you don't replace it and it's actually the right side, something like that. So he has two whining noises. I've already identified them, but I just want to talk about it and say them. One of them is under the car, and that is the center bearing of the, I can't think today, the center bearing of the drive shaft. However, these are non-serviceable drive shafts on these, so you need to get a complete drive shaft. Fortunately, it wasn't very expensive, so I have a complete drive shaft here with it, so we're going to install that. I'm not going to film too much of that because it's just taking the drive shaft out and putting another one in, and it's a little tight. However, we're going to talk about troubleshooting. This is your friend for identifying noises. This is just a simple one. You can get electric ones, you can get anything. And the other noise is in the engine bay. It's a whirring sound. And he has already gone to another shop before and has replaced idlers and pulleys and things, and the belt made no difference. He thinks it's the alternator, and let's check. It's really simple. We'll fire it up. The alternator is on that side of the car. You can see it from the top. You put the little stick on there, and you listen to it with the stethoscope and see if that's the issue. So let's do that, see if it is the issue, and then of course replace the alternator if that is the case, and if it is, see if it's better afterwards. And then we'll also talk about how I identified the sound with the throw-up bearing, which was a little bit different. Down there is the alternator. So I grab the stethoscope and bring it down. And I can hear a lot. I'm gonna try and hook this up to the mic and see if you guys can hear it as well. Listen to this and see if you can hear it. I have no idea if this is gonna work or not. I listened back to the camera footage and that actually works. You can hear what it sounds like when I have the probe on the alternator and when it's off. And then I just probe some other things and everything else seems quiet. So it's the alternator. I have a good used one laying around for one of these, and we've talked about that with the customer and he's happy with that. Because if you remember, I built an engine for the S-Type, and we bought an engine from a 308, and I just removed all the 308 things and put all the S-Type things on it, and then I kept the alternator for that. So that is from one of these, and that should fit no problems at all. The next thing is the drive shaft, and I'm going to sort of tell you how I did that. Quite simple. It's one of those things, I'm not sure if I recommend to do it, but car up in the air and put it in gear, you climb under and you listen. Unfortunately, cars like these with traction controls and things, you can't really spin them that quickly, because I would like to maybe have someone in the car and at least have the car go on the speedometer, 30, 40 miles an hour, so you can listen. However, you can't do that with traction control because it notices the front wheels aren't turning, and it will just not like that. And however, I went underneath, I listened to customer complain of a noise in the middle of the car while driving. So it could either really be transmission, differential, which is from the rear, but it can travel noise, or the center bearing of the drive shaft. So listen to the diff first, completely quiet, not a single sound from it. Listen to transmission, slight bit of whirring, but there's always a little bit of whirring in the automatic transmission while the fluid is pumping around. And then the throw-up bearing was, not the throw-up bearing, sorry, the center bearing was the loudest thing there. So we ordered a drive shaft. Let me show you what it looks like, and sort of show you some tips and tricks of replacing drive shafts, and then I'm not going to film while doing it. I'm a little bit, sometimes time crunch. This is a workshop where I, try to make a living from it, so can't film everything, but try to bring you guys along as much as possible. Here is the drive shaft, and there is the center bearing. So this is the way it sits in the car. So when you look up, you see this side of it, and I have listened to all of that, and that sounded a little bit more noisy. As you see, the holes are elongated because you can usually sort of adjust them a little bit. What I'm going to do is, with a paint marker, mark where the old one sat, put this one back, and see that that's correct. Otherwise, we'll go through the adjustment procedure, but that should get it back in the right position. So I'll get the car up in the air. We'll do this, and then we'll do the alternator, and then hopefully everything is nice and quiet. It's the next day. I've gone for a couple drives and everything seems really good. The alternator is nice and quiet now, and that prop shaft, the center bearing, is nice and quiet as well. That was a little bit of a pain to do with the exhaust and everything. Not probably really difficult when this car was new, and not difficult now either, but these cars, I mean, I think this is 2000 or something. I mean, we're talking 20 plus years and things are going to be stuck. But yeah, it was just a simple video showing this old thing, which these have been around forever and they're really cheap. You get them in most parts stores. That's really all you need to identify sound. It's pretty easy. And if you need to identify a sound when it's running, you can put them up on jack stands, make sure it's really safe, make sure no one's around, and make sure that you're aware that yes, the car can't fall off the jack stand, things can happen. Make sure no one is around and run it up and listen to things. But yeah, that's it. Anyways, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Till next time, I'm Matt. This is Living with Classic. I'll see you soon.